Mount Shasta can be a deadly mountain. Please be very careful if you attempt to hike it. After months of training on local mountains, planning the hike, and gathering up and testing our gear, we headed to the town of Mount Shasta to start our adventure.
Going to grab our boots.
Arriving the night before our start date, we went to the 5th Season first to get fitted for our mountaineer boots and crampons. We grabbed our permit here as well and then headed back to the hotel to sleep before our hike. We planned on getting an early start, so we went to Seven Suns, which was the only place that was open at 6 a.m. for breakfast, and then headed up to Bunny Flat to meet up with the rest of the crew and begin the hike. What's up, guys? We are setting out at 7:30 on the hike to Mount Shasta. I got Amy, Jeff the SoCal hiker, and John, Mr. Moosefish. It's me. And we're heading out. The climb begins easy enough with lush tree cover and lots of views of Mount Shasta in the distance. Mr. Moosefish, it's me, and we're heading out. The climb begins easy enough with lush tree cover and lots of views of Mount Shasta in the distance. We've already made it 1 mile. This is mostly the flat, not steep part, so enjoy it while you got it. 0.7 miles to Horse Camp. Horse Camp is the first point of interest, and it's where John Muir started his hike. Feeling that good elevation.
Made it to Horse Camp.
This lodge is owned by the Sierra Club Foundation and it was built in 1923. This is Horse Camp. It's the last place for a bathroom stop. They have a library here, and you can even play some chess while you're hanging out. Horse Camp is also the last place to get water without melting snow. Fresh spring water. Leaving Horse Camp behind, onward to Lake Helen, which is where we're camping. From this point on, you'll pretty much only be going up the rest of the hike. You do get some amazing views behind you though every time you turn around. This is also why you want to leave early, as you're out of tree cover and there's no more shade. We got a helicopter coming in to do a rescue. Do not underestimate this hike. If it's a clear day, you should be able to see Mount Lassen out in the distance. We made it up the first hill. Only a little bit left to go to Helen Lake. When I say little bit though, it's probably another hour. Depending on how fast you hike and the conditions, it's probably more than an hour, as this is where we started to hit the snow and progress became a lot slower. There's Amy right there. That's our destination for today, our campsite at Helen Lake. The climb here gives you a little test of what you're going to experience tomorrow. We are almost to Helen Lake, but this part is tough. Helen Lake is your home away from home on Mount Shasta. It's where everybody pretty much camps, and there was 30 other tents there when we were there. If you're lucky when you get there, you can find a spot already carved out in snow, flatten it a little bit, and then that's where you set up your tent.
Melting snow for water tomorrow.
Water is the next order of business, and it takes forever to either boil it or melt it so it can go through your filter. I recommend getting started on this early. In case you were wondering, there is a bathroom. It's not a bad place for a bathroom either. We've been at Helen Lake for about 4 hours now. We got up here a little early, got our stuff set up, picked out our tent area in the snow, but it is super exposed and hot, so we've been in the tent most of the time, just trying to stay out of the sun. At Helen Lake, everybody pretty much just hangs out, boils water, and waits for the sun to go down so that they can go to sleep. So with the sun going down, it's time for bed. Super early morning, 2 a.m. to start the hike to the summit. We just got up, it's 2:30, and we're about to start the hike to the summit.
Next stop, Red Banks.
To say the hike to Red Banks is difficult would be a crazy understatement. You gain about 2,200 feet of elevation in less than a mile, and it's going up the entire way. This is where your crampons and ice axe come in handy as it gets steeper and steeper as you go up, and a fall could easily make you slide down at least 1,000 feet if you can't self-arrest. We came from all the way down there. The sun's coming out. Been hiking for about an hour and a half. It is crazy steep up here. When the sun finally came up, it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had while hiking, as you got to see the triangular shadow of Mt.Shasta casting out into the distance. It almost made me forget I was climbing a 2,000-foot ice wall. Almost to the top of Red Banks, but this is the first place you can sit on this entire hike up, so I'm taking a break for a minute. 3.5 hours later, we finished the most crazy part of the hike. Made it to the top of Red Banks. Red Banks sits at over 12,000 feet, it looks down on a glacier, and it gives you views of what the rest of the hike to the Mt.Shasta summit is going to look like. It's also a great place to take a break and have some food. After crossing the glacier, the next push is just as steep, but luckily not as long. More steep uphill. It is super windy, but we only have 900 feet left to the summit. The section we're on is called Misery Hill, I believe. Definitely lives up to its name. Misery Hill is where your endurance comes into play, as it's not as steep as Red Banks, but you're higher in elevation and you just want to get it done. Made it to the top of Misery Hill. Next stop, summit. After cresting Misery Hill, you'll finally see the summit in view. Hopefully it's not like when we went, where we had 30-mile-an-hour winds and it was crazy to get across to the base of the summit. From there, it's a short push up switchbacks to get to the rocky crag that is the Mt.Shasta summit. The wind didn't allow us to stay long, but it was amazing to be able to stand at the summit of the 14,180-foot Mt.Shasta. Don't forget to grab a picture at the official high point and to sign the summit register. Remember, the hike is only half over though, and you still have to descend 7,000 feet over 5 miles to get back to your car.
Glissading.
Luckily, when there's good snowpack and it's melted a little bit, you do get to glissade, which is basically sliding on your butt on the snow all the way down the section from Red Banks to Helen Lake. Yeah! It's amazing how fast you get down when you get to do this. When you get back to Helen Lake, you get to pack up all your stuff, put back on the heavy backpack, and hike all the way out to the car, completing your time on the Mt.Shasta Trail.